Today's video is all about Octo Gaming. Get rewards playing games. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals such as the team, the tokenomics, utility, and the overall value proposition. Figuring out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. And the question is Octo Gaming an opportunity? Guys, today we're doing a deep dive. We're going to be looking into some of the details here with regards to fundamentals. We'll be looking into the team, the tokenomics, utility, overall value proposition, and much more. And of course, we want to make some critical decisions. You know, is Octo Gaming, does it have what it takes to make it to our portfolio? We're going to be taking a retail investor perspective. We're going to be looking at pretty much using the website and the white papers and any other documentation that the team has provided so that we can, you know, get the information to be fundamentally bullish, of course. And it's very important that we understand all the details, the good, the bad, and the ugly as we move forward, given the fact that we are expecting retailers to get in. We're expecting a lot more capital flowing into this crypto space, and as that is happening, we got to make sure that the projects that we invest in, the projects that we get involved in give us all the information we need in order to be bullish. If the information is not there, guys, it's their responsibility to give us all the details we need. All right, guys, let's take a look at the website. Let's begin by, you know, just scraping through the website. Then we'll take a look at some of the documentation. At first glance, it looks good. I like the overall design. It looks great. Get rewards playing games, join more than playing games players. Okay, that's a bit confusing, but that's fine. I think we get the gist of what's happening here. You play games, you get rewards. Okay, there's an app for the Play Store and pretty good App Store and the Google Play Store. So both main mobile platforms. So I'm getting the sense that, you know, the application itself and the games themselves are, you know, basically mobile applications. Main partners. Okay, so we have Bonk, D Gods, Utes, Kleinosaurus, Chimpers, and I'm not sure what that is, but okay, fine, some sort of pixel game. Pretty good. Ultimately, I'm seeing, you know, partnerships regarding gaming. Okay, and of course, this is a gaming project, and this is good, obviously. Double reward system. Let's see what's going on here. We see lots of products and so on, and gift cards and all of that. Win, basically, by playing. When exchanged it against physical and digital prizes offered by our brand partners. So that's a good one, because at least they acknowledge the fact that a lot of these brands that we are going to see perhaps are partners based on them offering products that are basically used as rewards, which is, you know, it's up to you how you want to classify. Is that an actual partner, or is it just like a sponsor, or is it just a promotional relationship? And obviously promotional relationships are good, but they're not really a strategic partnership. So we got to be really open about what is the relationship amongst many different partners and to what degree are they strategic or not. Okay, that's very important, but nonetheless, pretty good, nice stuff there. Win our token, which is OTK, is the ticker, which is obviously the main focus of the deep dive. We want to know if OTK has what it takes. You know, the overall fundamentals about OTK, the utility, the value proposition. What is the utility is important, because a lot of times when I do deep dives, a lot of people think that the utility means what does the application do as far as utility. Now, this could be a great utility from an application perspective. It's a game. Yeah, it could be amazing games, could be very entertaining and all that kind of stuff. But what is the utility for the token itself? Why do we need a token? That's more important than, let's say, from a Web3 perspective, than, let's say, the game itself, because we could definitely stay Web2 and still have a great platform that could be distributed on all mobile devices without a crypto token. So this is very important, because I get a lot of you know, questions and even some criticism sometimes for people saying, but what do you mean utility? There's lots of utility. Look what this app can do. It's not about the application, it's about the token. What is the token used for? Okay, so let's keep on moving down. how to play, select a game, and casual games. And I can see that based on what I see here, it looks like a very, very simple casual games. And we'll take a look at some of the game offerings in a second. Bet free gold on your own victory. So you play, you can even bet a few tokens or some sort of value on a game. And if you win tokens. If you don't, you lose, and type of thing. So gamification, a bit of, you know, let's call it maybe a bit of gambling, maybe feel to it. But it's a gamification of playing games. Winners win the pot type of thing. So that makes sense. Claim your rewards in golds. Golds, basically these tokens right here, this kind of in-app currency, and then OTKs as well, which is the currency that we're talking about today, the actual cryptocurrency. Okay, so there's twofold type of earnings, like they mentioned before, a reward system. Okay, our games, this is their games that they have. They have a few here. Now, as we scroll over and hover, I like the fact that they give you a bit of a quick look as to what they look like. And now, I can see that like some of them are very, very basic, and some of them lack polish, and they're very, honestly, they look so familiar that we've seen these types of games before. This is not a unique, this is not an innovative game. This is something that we've seen before over and over. There's different types of, let's call them quote unquote ripoffs of this type of game, and you can see that even the graphics are very basic. So we have to understand what their value proposition here is. Simple mobile games, very simple. However, just because they're simple, it doesn't mean that they could lack or should lack the creativity and the innovation of having something unique and interesting to bring more value, a greater value proposition to the platform. This game has been done over and over and over for years, and I'm seeing just another one. Let's move on. Okay, what is this? Does this remind you of something? This reminds me of course, Pac-Man. Is this a new innovative style of game? Absolutely not. Are people going to choose to play this game versus Pac-Man? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the fact that it's gamified in crypto and you can earn, maybe that's enough of a value proposition to get people to play this instead of the OG Pac-Man. This is where I'm going at. Is this a unique game? Is this creative? Is this something that's really going to attract gamers, even if they're only mobile gamers? It's fine. There's, you know, for convenience and, you know, on-the-go gaming. Are people actually going to get into this? This is not bad. Let's keep on moving on. I think we can get into a few more. What else are they offering? Trying to click here. Okay, Flappy. You get the Flappy Bird style. Very not unique. Let's put it that way. We've seen this many times. Is this original? Absolutely not. We keep on going. What's this? Another one. Not original, but still clean and replayable. And of course, if you're looking for these style of games, simple mobile games, they got you covered. Look at that. If that's what you're interested in. Again, a simple game, a shooting game. You have some collisions, some obstacles, and you shoot a ball in a net. Great stuff. Simple. Ninja, again, another application that is not original. I'm getting the sense that none of these are going to be really original. You can see this. Okay, simple. I don't know if there's other games that are mainstream that are similar, but it's very simple, you know, mobile games. And as we keep on going on, I think that this one might be the most original just because of the graphics and the simple, but it looks like it was programmed on Scratch, and that's totally fine. But this is what you get. You get very simple, basic games for your mobile. Okay, it's just another replication, another Flappy Bird. So I see two with the same style, right? So it's almost like repetition. Why are they offering two with the same style? Another, okay, a jumping game, you know, just obstacles and jumping around. And you have the dinosaur one, obviously running through. This also looks very familiar. And then you have this one, which is the bonk. Okay, well, fine, that's it. A meme coin theme. So you can see there's some interesting stuff here, but nothing really majorly innovative here. Okay, you got to understand that. You know, if we're gonna try to onboard new users, why would they choose this? Okay, maybe it's because this application or Octo provides a one-stop shop for all these little basic games that are basically crypto themed, or you just new or themed that are based you know, that are unique in its own regard, but the actual game itself is not. Maybe that could be the case. Whatever it is, that's your decision to make if you think that this is valuable in the gaming market. Okay, let's move on. Join our Discord community. I'm glad to say that the Discord community is very active, including some of the moderators, or even I think it's a team member as well. You will classify it as a team member because this individual that was there on the Discord was able to help me with a lot of my questions. In fact, I was able to post a ticket, and the individual was able to help me throughout all the questions that I had as best as to his ability, and that was great. The fact that I was able to get into contact with somebody that was higher up other than just a regular you know, member of Discord. Okay, so that's good. The Discord community is hot. If you have any questions or anything that you need to discuss, I think that's a great place to check out. Let's keep on going now. We do see choose a marketplace. There's an NFT platform going on, which we know that with gaming, NFTs, in-game assets, whether they be just skins for you know, just to make things look good, or if they actually have utility in the game, whichever the case may be, NFTs now are coming back as in-game assets. Okay, so this is really important because we're seeing old technology, meaning previous cycle technology, NFTs, coming back and showing true you know, use case, rather than just JPEGs. Okay, so this is very, very important to see the NFT standard actually being put to play within the gaming narrative. So that's a good thing. Let's keep on going down. They got active users, lots of registered users, ratings on the stores, high ratings, total funds raised. You can see lots happening here with regards to stats. Feel free to kind of like scrape through that. If you're bullish, great, 30,000 daily users, and so on and so forth. So good, giving us some information in regards to that. Some you know, recommendations, some you know, just comments from the general public. Obviously, they're going to give you all the positive things here. Let's keep on going down. We got backers and strategic partners, and this is where I get a little bit interested, because I'm very critical with this, given that we have Solana Foundation, which we're going to talk about in a second, KuCoin, Gate, MEXC. These are not partners. Let's be clear. They're exchanges that hold their token, and I understand they may have provided liquidity to these exchanges, but they are not partners. They have a relationship, sure, but not something where it's a strategic partnership whatsoever, and they're not backing. So I would say that this is a little deceiving. Now, if we keep on going down, there's probably there's some launch pads, some gaming, which we talked about before, and there's probably some VCs, ventures, any capital, venture capital. You can see that there's some investors and capital. All these are basically providing capital liquidity, basically. So we have to understand that there's VCs involved. Okay, that's also something that we got to understand, that both has a positive and a negative outlook. VCs, we need VCs. The market needs VCs. Why? Because the market needs capital, right? How are they going to get marketing going? How are they going to be, you know, getting things going without any capital? And that's one of the things that you got to understand, is that VCs provide that initial liquidity necessary to get a business off the ground. Without them, you're going to be stagnant, right? And that's one of the issues that a lot of you know, fair launches have, is that they don't even have liquidity to get listed on exchanges. Whereas if you got some VCs involved that, you know, think the project is good, they will help you get listed, because they're going to provide the initial liquidity for KuCoin, Gate, and MEXC, and all their fees associated to get listed. That's very, very important. Now, if we keep on going down, we see Lenovo, Logitech, and I really wanted to question this, because ultimately these are hardware and peripheral companies, and they're not really necessarily strategic partners. Although, you know, I question, could they even be strategic partners? They're just promotional partners, which is still good. I'm not knocking it. I'm saying it's really good, because if you get into any sort of competitions that they may have or anything like that, what happens is that they get they provide, you know, laptops and things, different tech devices as prizes and so on. So it's a cross promotional relationship that they got there, and which is pretty good. And then I see Solana. Technically, if they're gonna differentiate between Solana Foundation and Solana, this is deceiving. They're not partnered with Solana. It is clearly an open blockchain for anybody to use. So it's not a partnership. There's no partnership associated here. There is a relationship, as I explained, but there is no partnership. Now, if we compare that with the Solana Foundation, things are a little bit different, because the Solana Foundation is an organization where individuals that want to deploy on Solana, they apply and they become part of their incubator program. Now, I wish that there was some solid documentation, you know, provided by the Solana Foundation that says, yes, you know, Octo is part of the incubator program, and this is what we're involved in, this is what we're doing. Unfortunately, there isn't. However, from the Octo Gaming side of things, there are social media posts tagging the foundation, you know, announcing the relationship and the partnership, and announcing the fact that the Solana Foundation is actually an investor. So let's call it what it is. So far, it's clearly they are working with the Solana Foundation. I would just have liked Solana Foundation, and it's not just for Octo Gaming, it's for all of their you know, participants in the incubator program. They should provide some sort of roster that is going through their program, but they don't, and it's very difficult to actually get involved and ask them questions, unfortunately. Now, I did post a couple of questions on their forums, and since I post that, there is another individual actively looking for this information as well. And it's just because we need transparency, especially with regards to funding. You know, we don't want to know if there are VCs as Solana, you know, acting also as a VC, and a lot of the times they do invest in startups. So we want to know more about it. Now, this is not an Octo Gaming problem per se. It is a Solana Foundation issue more so, but it would improve the bullishness on this relationship if Solana Foundation would make it very clear that they are working with them in what capacity. Okay, so maybe Octo Gaming can put a bit of pressure on the Solana Foundation to add a page to their website that has them listed amongst many others and provide those details. Okay, so just a little bit of a side note with my experience doing deep dive research on many different projects on different chains. Okay, so let's keep on moving down. What is Octo Gaming? And again, if you have any interest, any questions, a lot of them are here. Is gold is a cryptocurrency? You can see no, it's not. It's basically a currency that is within the game itself, and you can use it to redeem different prizes and so on. But you could redeem the token, OTK token, as a prize as well. It's a dual system, as mentioned before. Okay, so that's that. Let's keep on going down because you can read that on your own time, obviously. And then we reach the bottom. You see we got the white paper. Let me just make sure that I got this open properly. I'm going to get that open because I already have a version of it open. I want to make sure I got the medium, and you're going to see that I have the medium open. We'll talk about what's going on there, the token itself. Okay, and I'm curious about what this is. Okay, and then terms and conditions, and we're hiring, and that's about it. You got some links, social links down here. Okay, so that one that I just opened right here takes you to KuCoin. I am not going to go onto the KuCoin website, so that's that. But we'll definitely take a look at the white paper right now. All right, so let's do that. So you can see that they have a typical a Gitbook, powered by Gitbook type of documentation, which personally I prefer than a typical white paper. Okay, because it's an active document, and it actually gives you some details as to you know, how current the document is, as it is like a working document. You can see that this was last updated 4 days ago. Now just keep that in mind, because really what we want to do is ensure that a lot of this information is relevant, and relevance is you know, based on the time it was published. And we know that in tech, in crypto in general, you know, time is, you know, really fast. Basically things move really quickly, and what we really want to do is make sure that all of this is up to date. Now you can see this is about Octo Gaming history. They do have a history. Again, the Logitech, they're one of the OGs brands and, you know, partners, quote unquote, type of thing. You feel free to go check all of this out. This is their history, their stats and how they're performing. Remember some of this stuff that we talked about already, the downloads and so on, and the team. Okay, so this is, now that we're here, we might as well talk about the team. The team is pretty good, and what I'm going to say is this: these two individuals right here, and I got their LinkedIn pages. So I went on LinkedIn and I kind of like, let me just get rid of some of this. Okay, and I checked these the two dudes out, which are the founders. Okay, well basically, if we start off with this guy right here, you can see he's the co-founder. They're based in France, and you keep on going down. Their main experience, their main degrees, you know, basically their training, everything like that is business. They're businessmen. These guys have a background in business. Okay, and if you go back even into Thomas, also, you know, he's gaming, consumer, mobile. Okay, and if you keep on going down, it's e-commerce. Okay, which is a good thing, no doubt. You can see sales assistant, B2B, and sports. I don't know, business school. This is where they're all at. Business school, Mexico business school. Okay, so these guys are businessmen, which we have to understand. It is a valuable skill set. set. It is valuable because ultimately these projects are businesses. We got to accept that. However, I also want to know the talent with regards to tech. Like, who's the tech talent? And these guys could be techie as well, no doubt. But who's the software developer? Who's the full stack developer? Who's the Web3 blockchain developer? Who's actually the enthusiast behind this new technology? And this is what I want to see, this talent. Now, unfortunately, I was able to get a clear confirmation that the actual team that is behind the tech that wants to remain anonymous. So that's that. So what am I going to say? Blockchain developer. Apparently, this is not him. Apparently not. I don't know. But if they are, great, because we got something, but they remain anonymous. This is his name, I'm assuming. And this is what the team told me on the Discord, that they want to remain anonymous. And this is all we're getting. So what's their background? Where they come from? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. But so far, so good. Now, we could argue that maybe the blockchain team they don't need a massive blockchain team. And the reason being is primarily that, you know, it is basically a project that is built on Solana. They're not a layer 1 or anything, right? They're not re-engineering a blockchain. They're just using the blockchain. And, you know, teaming up with the Solana Foundation gives them a lot of resources to build on the blockchain, as far as, you know, giving them some tips on how to get going properly, maybe even some engineering tips and so on. Working along the Solana team is a really good thing. So again, I'm on, you know, on the fence. I would like to know if there are some major talents in this avenue as far as tech, but that's all we got. Okay, guys, so it's not bad. It's not bad because at least these guys are completely doxed. Okay, so let's keep on moving on. Let's close this. How do I close this? Let me make sure. There we go. Backers and partners again. Advisors. I don't know. KuCoin is an advisor. Sandbox. I don't know if that's a positive thing. Solana Art, an advisor from Solana Art. I don't know if, okay, Maven, Capital, VC, Flow Desk, market making. So you can see that there is some relationships here. How valuable they are, again, be critical, but at the same time, keep open-minded. And there's moderators. I can see that very active on the Discord. And I forget which person I spoke to, but this dude right here. So that's awesome. Okay, good stuff. Let's move on. Gaming industry and its limits. So they're going to be talking about, you know, why maybe because there's always got to be an issue, and then basically there's got to be a solution. So what is the issue and what is the solution? If Octo Gaming can provide the solution to a decent problem, then that means there's a higher chance of success, right? So they know that there's, you know, industry and its limits and gaming, and where the actual the opportunities are in the gaming industry, okay, especially for crypto in general. Okay, score and earn and so on. You could obviously score, earn, and play earn. There's two different types of earning. You have the play to earn model, and right here it says 2 ways to win, 2 ways to earn by playing the game on Octo app. Users can earn tokens through score and earn model, and physical goods through play and earn model. So that's where the Logitech and Lenovo come in, where they provide a lot of the products, the physical goods to the team in order to give them away as an earning capabilities. And there are other things that obviously it's not just the Logitech and the Lenovo. They got a few other things there going on, so which is good. But you can also score to earn model, which is you earn tokens, which a lot of us in the crypto space associate that's the major way to earn as far as that goes. Okay, so that's pretty good. You got the games, you got the ability to get rewarded and earn. Okay, we're moving on. Octo app on iOS and Android. Okay, that's self-explanatory. They're on both major platforms there, operating systems. There's a wallet. Okay, about the wallet, if you want to know about the wallet, I think that's very typical. That's nothing really to get too involved in. And as we keep on going on, how to get Octo, you get on exchanges. We'll talk about the different exchanges that it's listed on. And then about the token itself. So basically, the token is the main token. It's built on Solana blockchain. SPL basically means it's on Solana. Okay, it is the main utility token and currency of the Octo ecosystem. That's basically what it is. Okay, so we can move on there and look at the token details. 1.2 billion tokens in its fixed supply, which is good because we know that there's no risk of inflation. It's on its native chain and it's a sole SPL. Okay, that means it's built on Solana and it's yeah, basically it's Solana standard, let's put it that way. And this is the contract address. let's move on. What is the token itself? And we kind of get into repetition, but there are various in-game events and competitions where you can earn the token. And I'm going to give you a full summary on all of these little details, because some of the essential components are essentially rewarding. Most tokens, in this case, in crypto, it's about rewards and being how do you get part of a certain community. And if you own tokens, you get rewards in getting access to the various things, like being part of events and things like that. So this is also very important. But I would say that this right here, if out of all these statements, because you can see upgrades, including premium avatar subscriptions, this is what you can buy. You can basically use these tokens to get involved, to purchase all these variety of in-app and in-game assets and items and upgrades and all this kind of stuff. But and in addition, you get rewards for participating in the ecosystem and so on and so forth. But here they say something like means of liquidity provisions for the ecosystem will freely be available on markets that can be used for players to trade and exchange. So they're just basically saying that the token is going to be a currency that can be exchanged. Okay, sure. I think that would be the least important value proposition, because ultimately we would expect OTK to have liquidity, or else why would we want to own it, right? That's one of the things. It's got to be as liquid as possible, obviously, because if not, then we're in trouble. So to put that there is almost like self-explanatory, but I like the fact that at least they acknowledge that maybe some of the retailers might not understand that what liquidity means. And with that being said, maybe simplifying the language there would be better, but nonetheless good. Okay, very, very typical utility. So OTK is a versatile and essential component of the system. It serves as a variety of functions and helps create thriving, engaging gaming community. It's a coin, it's a token. Let's move on. What is it used for? I feel like a lot of what they said above focuses on rewards. So the last page that I showed you here, they're showing you a little bit of something else. I feel like there's a bit of disconnect here, because they're both utility. We're talking about utility, and getting rewards is definitely a utility. But here you can buy in-game powers, buy avatars, raffle tickets and prizes. Here you can see you can upgrade your NFTs and so on. Cosmetic relating to assets that don't really affect the gameplay per se, but affect the way you look in the game, or the aesthetics of the game, right? So cosmetic, and that's a very typical let's say use case in the crypto space, especially with the free to earn model. They give you free NFTs, and they really don't help much other than making you look good. Let's say that. So skins and avatars and all of that. Health recharge, and the OCTOKN will be required to pay recharging NFT power. Okay, and the community access to DAO guilds and access to Telegram whale group. Now I'm not sure if this is really live at the current moment, because you got to understand that what bothers me about of all of this documentation, which I kind of forgot to kind of mention as I was going, a lot of this stuff is 11 months old. Now 11 months doesn't sound like a long time, but 11 months ago, this market was in a very, very different state. In a sense that this market was in a bear market where, you know, a lot of these projects, that's where they were grinding. That's where they were literally trying to grind away and improve the tech that they got ready to move forward for the bull run. Now that we are in a bull run, I would say that a focus should be to get this all tidied up. Now, at least, you know, to revise it and make sure it's all up to date, because I feel in some instances as I'm reading this that it's almost like outdated, but it may not be completely, because some of them, they have the word live. It's been live, okay, that's great, but some of them I question whether it's actually been implemented. Okay, so let's just keep in mind that this is 11 months old, okay, which is a long time here in the crypto space, especially based on the cycle. Also keep that in mind. About the NFTs and about that. Okay, so the NFTs, guys, go check it out. They're in-game NFTs or assets that you can buy within the ecosystem. If you're bullish on NFTs, they got you covered. I'm not going to get into that. And obviously the NFTs can give you some value. Being a NFT holder, you join the club, and if you're part of the club, you're going to get rewards here and there, you know, type of thing. So look into that. Now you can see there's a leaderboard for the prizes, the quests, you get prizes. Again, NFT holders, leaderboards, creation, box system, and there's so much happening here if you want to look at the GameFi as a system, because as a financial, let's say, platform, and you have all these tokens and all these assets, how does that, what are the benefits of holding? And this is going to give you some of these fine details of being an NFT holder and an Octo holder type of thing. So again, I'm not going to get into that detail. I'm trying to get into things that pertain to the token itself and the overall project. So you can see you have a shop, avatar, about golds, and you can get more detail about this this currency that's within the game. Again, it's not a cryptocurrency, but it is a currency that allows you to engage within the games. What else do we have here? Octo games. We talked about this already. We scrolled through all the various games. You know, you got to be very clear about whether you're bullish on them or not. Okay. Branded IP games. We got a couple more. We have Degenerate Ape, and this one right here, and Making of Dropout, and so much. Clear Source, ABC Origin. So there's a lot of stuff happening here, guys. Okay, so make sure you go check out those games, and there's a lot more. Now the partnerships forum, let's see, and I want to take a look at this. I think this is probably, there's a lot of documentation here, no doubt. The staking, of course, you can get involved in staking and get rewarded there. Farm OTK on Radium, of course, that's available to, as well. So there's a lot of utility for the token, because you can stake and obviously even farm. But what I want to do is quickly get into this, okay, because this is all bullish, no doubt, but the basis, the foundation of the token right here is so important. This is what I focus a lot on, because, you know, the team in the white paper could definitely promise everything under the sun, but as soon as you get into the foundation of the actual coin itself, or the token itself, it needs to hold up. And this is where it really kind of bothers me a little bit. You can see that the total supply, you have the distribution amongst various wallets, and it's quite clear. Okay, it's not, you know, honestly, it's not bad. We have the treasury, which holds 43%, 44%, and then as you look at it all, okay, we got approximately 30% that get allocated to early adopters, like advisors, the airdrops, let's say maybe even to the seed round and the private round, and all of these are early stakeholders. These early stakeholders have an incentive to sell as soon as the price gets hot, because of course they got in really early, and they're going to be in profits a lot earlier, and they're going to want to guarantee return, and they're considered almost like VCs. They want, their main focus at the current moment for the most part is for them to walk away very, very profitable, because that's their business, to provide liquidity early and take advantage of that early position that they may have, and obviously take profit as soon as they've lined their pockets. But that's standard across all projects, not just this one. However, guys, the concern here is the unlocks. I tried for 3 days straight to try to get some clarity about how these tokens that over inflation, they have a clear inflation rate. I'm not saying they don't. They have a clear inflation rate. You can see over 46 months, we're going to see a slow emissions as we get to 1.2 billion. But as these tokens get released, how are they going to be placed into these categories? At what rate are they gonna, like, how are they gonna get distributed? When are they gonna get unlocked, free to be sold on the open market? As soon as they get emitted? And then what percentage is going to get emitted at what given time? So this is, for me, the biggest issue, is because a lot of the times we focus on the unlocks because it is a negative scenario, right? We increase supply, an instant supply shock hits the market, tokens hit the market, of course, and momentarily we do see a bit of a sell-off. We see sell pressure because of that. The dilution of the price, you know, comes in, and as this happens, we want to usually we be prepared to buy dips, or we prepare our portfolios accordingly. Whatever the case may be, the strategy that you may have is all on you. But right here, there's no information, and I asked the team to be clear about it, and I did not get any response. The individual that I spoke to on the Discord said he would look into it if it was a public thing. And what really turned me off the most was, like, you know what, you just got to trust it. You just got to trust that they're going to be allocated correctly. And that, for me, kind of puts red flags right in my face, because this is not a faith-based system. This cryptocurrency, Web3 blockchain technology removes trust. We don't need to trust anybody if there's a contract that has an unlock schedule, and the unlock schedule, basically the tokens get released slowly into this category at this given amount of time, at this particular moment in time, so we can prepare accordingly. And we know that ultimately these tokens are not going going to one wallet, and then we trust one central, let's call it government, let's say, because in this case, if it's a centralized authority here, we rely on one individual to allocate the capital where they see fit at any given time. That for me is problematic, guys. That's very problematic. And to be honest, I'm not saying that it is a rug pull, but this is, without that information, knowing what's going to happen, we basically run the risk of seeing, as the tokens get unlocked from TGE, they can get placed anywhere, and I don't know who's in control of the tokens. It's not like there's a complete DAO here, a decentralized autonomous organization that says, you know what, the treasury tokens are going to be allocated to a DAO. I don't see that here. I don't see that, you know what, maybe the team, they're going to be on a vesting schedule where over time they're going to get this amount of tokens. Yes, we see the emissions, but how, as they get emitted, how many of those tokens is the team going to get? How many of those tokens are the people in private round going to get? Are they going to pay off all the early stakeholders early in the game, fill up their bags, and then after give everybody else, you know, the treasury and so on, the token? I don't know how these tokens are actually going to be placed in these various categories, if they're going to be placed in separate wallets, if these wallets are going to be held through a third-party custodian to ensure that they're going to get unlocked accordingly, appropriately. We don't know what's going on here. We don't know. There's no clarity. So that bothers me. That's significantly an issue for me. So we could have a lot of good utility. We can have a lot of good tokenomics. We can have a lot of good stuff here. A great team, an amazing docs team. But when it comes to tokenomics, I think what needs to happen here is they need to revise this, because the last time this was updated, it was 11 months ago. Again, 11 months, a lot of things happen. It's time to really be prepared for what the market is preparing for, which is another major altcoin season that Octo needs to be prepared for. Please note that the inflation rate is a maximum amount of tokens that can be spread over the market, of course, following the vesting wallet vestings. What are the wallet vestings? We don't have no idea. If the amount of the smaller is allocated to Grav, it means that some tokens are still unspent and remains in the dedicated wallet. Okay, so who makes that decision? What happens to those tokens? Who's in control of those tokens? Is it the founders? If it's the founders, guys, we have trouble. And it's because when we talk about centralized governance, we talk about a project that literally is a security. And that becomes a big issue. So we need clarity. In fact, a lot of projects put a portion of their liquidity behind the DAO so that there's a decentralized feel to their liquidity into the centralized control. Okay, so that's my little rant there, guys. Obviously, do your own research. This is not financial advice. This is what I looked into for the last 3 days, and I'm trying to bring you some clarity. If there's something that I am missing here, and if the team is, you know, listening or concerned or anything, you know, I would suggest that they update or get in touch or be more transparent about all of this, because I tried for 3 days and got nowhere. Okay, let's move on. We got the airdrop program, and we got the interoperability by Octo. Roadmap is another one. Guys, it's outdated. There's nothing here. I know there was an AMA a couple of days ago, a few days ago, I think a week ago, where they talked about their roadmap, but that's not formal. Guys, when we talk about, we got to hold these projects very, very accountable, because when, you know, when we have a publicly traded company that's out there where we can buy shares and buy stocks and buy tokens and so on, you know what, we have some sort of governance, whether it be a board of directors or, you know, whatever it is, they come up with some formal documentation suggesting what's happening in the you know, subsequent quarters. There's nothing here. It's 11 months old. Let's get with it, right? This is the time. This is the main event is about to come, and these guys don't even have an updated roadmap. So it bothers me. These things bother me because I don't know where they're allocating their capital. Not only do I know where this capital is going as the emissions come, but I don't even know where they're putting it as far as investing. Where are they putting it? Are they putting it into AI, or are they putting it all into the team? Are they putting it all into the ecosystem growth? Where are they putting the capital, and where's their focus in the next little while? I have no idea. Okay, so we shouldn't require the retail investor to listen to each and every single AMA that they have, casual AMAs that are randomly posted on X, to really get a feel of what the team is up to. Okay, so we got to get really formal about things, and documentation is key. Put it in black and white. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Discord, Twitter, Instagram, they got, you know, the typical. Let's take a look at their Medium. because I think that might be useful. If you look at their Medium, their last post was April 13th, 2023, and they only got 53 views or 53 claps, which for me is like, this is old and outdated. They're not even using their Medium account, unfortunately, okay, to their advantage. You should be posting everything, especially if it's not going to be on the website. You know, you guys know that I don't even like blog posts as considered a formal outlet of information, but at the end of the day, you know, at least something. And they only have 49 followers, so I understand why maybe they're not putting that much emphasis. Now, back to some of this. You know, the reality is that I think as a young project, you know, and especially as a project that, you know, it is gaming, but it's not a heavyweight type of gaming project. The gaming project that we are talking about here today is a mobile game project, right? That's all it is. And the games themselves are not innovative or anything. And then, you know, we start to look at, you know, their involvement here with the socials, and I'm not seeing much involvement, right? They got 63,000 followers, which is good, but you know, 59 likes, you know, is not a lot, you know, considering that they're trying to, and I understand that the bear market is rough. I get it. But I think what they need to do is get some proper marketing involved. Proper marketing. Now, they're business guys. I can see that. And I can see that a lot of what they got going on here is looking pretty good. But I'm questioning why they're not getting more engagement on their posts, right? So maybe a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more with regards to marketing. Okay, so we got the majority of it. We went through the white papers and all of that. We clarified a lot. We went through the website. We clarified a lot. We went through the team. We went through some of their socials, the media. I got some more stats for you guys as usual. I do release an infographic to summarize my findings. So let's begin here by looking at this, and then we'll take a look at the price action to see what exactly is happening with the price. So let's zoom in and we'll kind of look at ecosystem. I'm gonna give it a pretty good. It's just, you know, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because they got many small games. However, you know, they're not very innovative. The games, you can see them, they're very low quality. They're not high-end games or anything. They're mobile games, and that's could be good in itself. That's the explanation. Mobile games, for the most part, are simple, basic games, right? Very low quality, very, you know, generic and simple, but there's no innovation. I've seen those games with different skins many times, with different front ends many times over. So could we improve that? Definitely. There's a much more, lots of space for improvement there. Utility, lots of utility there for the token itself, in-game currency, participating in rewards, in-app benefits, NFT upgrades, health recharge, community. There's staking and farming on different Ethereum and all of this. So good stuff. 10 out of 10. I say they got something going on there with the token. They definitely putting it to work. The roadmap is outdated on the white paper. It's outdated everywhere, but has mentioned some roadmap objectives in the previous AMA. Okay, is that good enough? For me, it's not personally. I want them to come. What does it take to get their marketing team or communications team to start to whip up something to put on a website or on a blog post? It takes nothing. And if they don't have that team member, I suggest that they figure it out. They got tons of VCs happening in there. Get somebody on board to actually communicate their future as best as possible, because 11 months of no proper updates is not acceptable. The team is fully doxed, the founders, and they have lots of business experience, but we have to understand there's limitations here because there's not much information with regards to the tech guys. Who are they and where they come from? They work for major gaming Web3 projects. You know, I would like to be fundamentally bullish on the tech itself, not just on the founders from a business perspective. So I give them 7 out of 10. The socials, you know, their follower count is falling just a little bit. They're down 88% from the previous 30 days. Personally speaking, I've seen an uptick in socials in the last little while. So the fact is that I expect this to be a little bit better. 67 posts in the last 30 days. I say that's a good effort, and this is the reason why I give them a 9 out of 10. It's because they're putting a lot of good effort, and their Discord is alive, and we'll talk about more of those little details in a second. Tokenomics, okay, look, I have no choice but to give it a red flag here until they fix this and be clear, because it seems like not even the team member that I spoke to even knows what's going on. And I try to get in contact with the founders, and no one responds. And to be honest, it's not just me that has these concerns. If you search their Discord, the amount of times people are asking for their unlock schedule and their vesting schedule is crazy, and nobody responds. There's no clarity. So I am not sure what's happening and how those tokens are being allocated, and who's going to be in control of those tokens as they get emitted into the market. So I am concerned. Early stakeholders own 32%, or will basically have 32% of the tokens. Imagine if that vesting schedule only focused on the early stakeholders. Imagine. We wouldn't know that. We don't know where those tokens are being released into, in which categories. If they're all being released into the early stakeholders category, guys, we're in trouble. So this is why, like, I'm worried. I want to know where they're going and how much and when. Like every other project that I do deep dives, most of them give you a clear unlock vesting schedule. And I did go on third-party websites to see if they had it, and guess what? They did not have the vesting schedule, because there is none, right? Or if there is, it's not clearly readily available, unfortunately, to the general public. So this is something that we need to hold them accountable for. And they're not clear and transparent. So I actually felt compelled to give them a 0 because of this, but I give them 2 out of 10 because there's other aspects of the tokenomics that we discussed that are good. So, but still, red flag for me. And tokenomics as a foundation of the project, as far as a Web3 project goes, it represents heavy weighting on sentiment of the token. Okay, relationships, Bonk, good relationships. Solana Foundation, like I said, this is a 10 out of 10 scenario. I think Solana Foundation could help teams, not only OTK, but teams themselves that are part of the foundation, by listing them as actual official members of the team. And now, if they are not listing them, it could be because they're trying to protect themselves just in case certain projects flop. But that's not right, because then they're not vetting the projects well enough. And why are they getting involved with projects that they're not vetting? So I'm kind of curious about the Solana Foundation and their involvement with these Solana projects, because of this, the lack of ambiguity of the relationship. But still, this is good. 10 out of 10. They're part of the Solana Foundation. There are AMAs where they talk to the Solana crew and so on. So feel free to check that out. 10 out of 10 there. And exchanges, it's still early, so I know I gave it a low rating, but you can consider it an opportunity. Right, this is potentially an opportunity, given the fact that it could get listed on other exchanges and bring in more liquidity, and obviously more volume. And we know that when a token gets listed on an exchange, we get an inflow or a uptick in price. So it could be an opportunity in itself. So keep an eye on announcements for exchange listings. So not bad, but that red flag, guys, but that red flag. So we can see trading volume is quite low. I like it to be above 10% at minimum in comparison to the market cap. The 1.2 billion supply is good. Fully diluted, this is a baby still. Market cap, it's a baby. This thing is tiny, tiny, tiny. And that's about it. Okay, final verdict. Some additional points that I wanted to add here, and maybe a bit of repetition, but it's okay. As a summary, it's kind of good to kind of like, just verify some of these details. NFT, it's an NFT gaming, mostly gaming, obviously, and it's part of the Solana narrative. Is that a bullish narrative? 100%. Guys, Solana, definitely is a hot topic. We expect Solana to do very well in this bull run. In fact, the chart itself looks really, really healthy. But Solana, being part of the Solana in the last little bit, always directly associated to meme coins. Now, is that something that we gotta put pressure on projects to realize? Look, Octo Gaming, you're not a meme coin. You need to be formal. You need to present yourself as a valid project that has a proper roadmap, that has everything, all the tokenomics, all the documentation nice and clean and clear. And we get it, you're not a layer 1, I understand, but you're a tech company at the end of the day, and not a regular gaming business, right, type of thing. So we got to really be very clear as their identity, and I feel like that could be clarified by focusing on some of the Web3 needs, especially for the Web3 investor needs. Documentation is out of date and lacks of vital information. As I mentioned, Novo and Logitech, I know a lot of people just look at those logos and they get all excited, but let's be real about their promotional relationships, which could be great, absolutely fine, but again, a category to categorize them clearly is important. And KuCoin and all these other exchanges, they're not partnerships, guys. They're just provide liquidity to the market, and that's about it. And now this is something that I've been doing research for a few days. Okay, and again, I'm going to just keep it very general here, and you could read between the lines, and you could do your own research, and you could definitely go take a look at what the market is talking about. And obviously something happened here with the graphic. I'll get that fixed up for you guys, but nonetheless, the calls, at the end of the day, there's a little bit of a questionable relationship with calls nowadays, and a lot of projects, right? There are some calls that don't have good reputations, and for some reason, these small projects, you know, they get involved with these individuals, which is not a good thing, and it gives the project itself a bad reputation. They need to be very clear and vet their calls thoroughly, and see what kind of relationship they have with their with the community, the crypto community, and then maybe choose their calls accordingly. At the current moment, you know, Octo is getting a bit of a bad reputation because of the involvement it has with certain individuals in the space, and it's not a good thing. Okay, it's not a good thing. Tech, blockchain, Web3, software, talent is not doxed and remains anonymous, and that's something that the team member that I spoke to made that very clear to me. Unfortunate. I would like them to be doxed, but so far the tech looks as good as it's going to get. Okay, so it's not bad. Relationship Solana Foundation is super bullish, but I would like to know more. You know, what exactly is happening there? That could be such a good catalyst for Octo if we knew more detail and formal detail from the Solana Foundation. Discord is active and has a team member ready to answer any questions, guys. Good stuff. And again, I apologize for what happened here. I don't know what happened, but a bit of a thing. I'm gonna say that this is a projection, not so much a target. Okay, it's a projection. And now my projection is, look, if we can get a 10x out of Octo, it could do really good. And ultimately, it could do really good. A 10x for me, given the red flag and all of that. Look, for me, it's a bit of an issue. It could be something that could be rectified with some clarity for the team, and everything lines up, everything does well. I can see a 10x, maybe even more, because it's a micro cap. But with that red flag and with those issues, and obviously the actual reputation that the calls are giving Octo at the current moment, it kind of bothers me. It's almost like red flag, and this is the reason why I'm going to be on the fence here. If I were an investor, I would think twice. My convictions are in the middle. Do I hold a little bit because it might pump because it's a micro cap and it looks pretty decent, or is it going to be a complete flop where, you know, maybe I'm going to put a small bag in because I don't know where this thing's going because there's a lot of gaps and, again, red flags. So guys, 50-50 here. There's some good things based on the Solana Foundation and all of this other kind of stuff, but guys, I don't know. I'm on the fence, and sometimes when you're on the fence, a 50-50 shot, what I'd say is that sounds like gambling, and it's better to have conviction that is more that gives you an edge rather than that is 50-50. No coin tosses at all. All right, guys, we do I know you're here to talk about charts as well, so let's take a look at some of this price action. What's going on with Octo Gaming? OTK is the ticker. It's been going sideways for the last little while, and it's been going sideways below the 200 daily EMA, which generally is not a good look, right? We want to see the 200 daily EMA below the price action, acting as support and for a potential bounce. But at the current moment, Octo is below. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. You know, the 200 daily is not the only, you know, signal or the only thing that we look at, right? We look for confluence amongst many indications within the chart, but it's a big one because it defines trend, and we are actually getting rejected off of it multiple times. Now, it could be that we come down again. It could be that we go sideways for a little bit more, you know, and move to the upside. It could be that we hunt liquidity. So if we're going to hunt more liquidity, where's the majority of the liquidity at? Where's the pain at? The pain is down here. And that's the reality. Whether you're bullish or not, it doesn't matter. The reality is this is the majority of the liquidity on KuCoin, which is the biggest provider of liquidity at the current moment, right? So if we are going to judge that based on that, we're going to want to see the price to come down here. And the reason being is because that's where we can induce max pain. Now, it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to. But what I do say is always prepare for the worst case scenario, because that would be a fire sale opportunity. That would be an opportunity where you can buy this thing at the best price you can ever buy it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to hold all your bag preparing for that. I'm just saying, just make sure that you have a small allocation prepared of stablecoin, dry powder, ready to go, just in case that happens. Because I know what the bears are going to say, and let's just be clear about this. This was a bear flag that got followed through to the downside. But in addition to that, the bears are going to say, but if we look at what's going on with that chart, chart, with the chart itself, we definitely see a scenario where we're definitely coming down. We retrace in some sort of flag so far, and it could be a bear flag, right? It could be just a continuation to the downside in the next little while, and that's not a good look. We don't want that to happen, but the market does what it has to do to basically hunt liquidity, and this is what kind of bothers me. Now, from a bearish perspective, we do have, you know, support on the previous low. We definitely could come down and hunt levels down here, and again come down to this level. But from a bullish perspective, what if we continue making higher lows and maybe go up for another higher high? This is what we want to do, is go for another higher high, and then we start, you know, maybe getting some peaks and valleys and going upwards, right? That's basically what we want to do. So what I want to ask you is, or you should ask yourselves when you look at this, is that where's my invalidation? At the current moment, at this current setup, where's my invalidation? Your invalidation literally should be a level of horizontal support, right? The best horizontal support you have as close as possible to current price is down here, because you have the basically an empty volume gap. You're right. This consolidation, and this bottom is going to give you the most support that you're going to need in order to get bullish. So you're not even at a good risk to reward ratio because of that. Now you could put a stop loss underneath here at 2.5 cents. That's also pretty decent. But as you can see, what about if this is also a bear flag? Impulsive move, consolidation, you know, and then impulsive move comes back down and comes back to the bottom of the range. I'm not liking it because of that. The risk to reward is not really good, and because this right here is, you know, we could put a stop loss right underneath there. Maybe that's not bad. We got a few bottoms, and then accumulate into this level and expect a pop right up to this level, and maybe get into a higher high scenario. So maybe that might be your best setup. But if you're going to get into that, it's got to be on the lower time frames. Okay, but before we get into lower time frames, because right now the daily is not really giving you an edge, to be honest. It could be a dead cat bounce, come down hard, bounce, come back here, and maybe come down for a lower low, and I don't want to be involved in that. That's, I'm not risk I'm not willing to take. And then another thing, as I'm at it here on the daily, I like rounded bottoms. You guys know that I appreciate those rounded bottoms. Right now, we're not getting a nice rounded accumulation bottom that shows me that people are buying and ready to make this thing move. We're actually getting more of a rounded top scenario where we're getting distribution, and I'm not liking that. Okay, so let's move on. Look at the follow through here on the momentum. We got the Class A bearish divergence accurately here, multiple drives of it, and then finally we're getting a bit of follow through. We already got oversold. This is what concerns me, is that we're already oversold. We got to the oversold state already. Now, do we come down even further back to the oversold? This is where I would say, if we've already gotten oversold, there is a good chance of going for overbought now, right? Because we already did it. So you can see there's a bit of indecision here. And when your thesis is like smack in the middle, 50-50, it's like you have no edge, similar to the fundamentals. When you have no edge and you feel uncertain and you feel like 50-50, maybe it's best that you don't trade, or maybe it's the best that you don't take too much risk. Now you can see momentum is still shifting to the downside. We did get oversold. Was that the full reset? Do we get overbought? Maybe, maybe not. This is the issue. So no edge right there. So move on. The trend oscillator. Where'd it go? The trend oscillator is here. You can see that really, look at the indecision here. Choppy, choppy, choppy everywhere. Is there a clear direction? Straight up, straight down, up and down, mess. Like there's no real clear direction. In fact, we worked very hard to get into the bullish control zone, but look what's happening now. We made a lower high right here. And if we come down for a lower low, we're getting back into the bearish control zone, and who knows how low we're going to go, guys. So I am not interested at this current moment because of what we're seeing with regards to momentum, with trend, and even price action as it's going sideways. The only thing that I can say, just based on daily price action, is it's sideways. Buy a small bag, if anything, a bag that you're willing to lose just in case it does come down further. Okay, let's look at the 4 hour real quick, and you can see how this looks. It looks pretty bad because it does look like a head and shoulders formation. In fact, it does look like a bit of a complex one, because let me try to angle this a little bit better so we can see this. You can see that the neckline is quite clear right around here. This is the neckline that it needs to break below. And then if you start looking at the head, is right here, and you get multiple complex shoulders. So complex head and shoulder, multiple little shoulders with one head, and a clear neckline. We break below 2.7 cents. We're coming down pretty hard, and we're looking for lower levels. And I'm not interested in playing this game. You can see how we're rolling over. Okay, so not a good look price action wise. Fundamentals, I'm on the fence about. And at the end of the day, guys, if you're not feeling confident, don't take the trade. It's better to find something that you have high convictions in and only get into high conviction plays, especially now, guys. You don't want to be wasting your capital into a project that might not move, and if it does, great, and if it doesn't, then what? But at least if you have a high conviction play, you can get in with a bit more confidence, guys. It's not looking the greatest, but it could do well. Again, prepare yourself accordingly. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm live at 8 p.m. EST every single night at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.